absolute blowout of Halo news, guys. Halo Infinite is confirmed free to play, and we may know when Halo Infinite multiplayer is revealed. Halo 3 is getting ODST's weapon set and never before seen customization options, plus loads of questions answered regarding Halo Infinite story. What happened to Halo 5 storyline like Cortana and Fireteam Osiris? Where is the multiplayer beta at? Is the classic Magnum and shotgun in Infinite? Tons of new things are in development now, like cross-play between Xbox and PC, and a custom games browser, and just a lot more I haven't teased here. But first, guys, be sure to smash that like button blue, as every like helps boost the video up the YouTube search results and supports me out as a content creator. Thanks so much. Let's jump into it. This video is supported by Audible. Snag yourself a free Halo audiobook right down in the description below. So yes, it turns out Halo Infinite multiplayer is free to play. It's confirmed, it's in stone. This announcement came shortly after a listing had claimed Halo Infinite was free to play, so I guess 343 said, screw it, let's just go ahead and announce it. And also 120 frames per second will be supported by the Xbox Series X. However, later in the video they talk about how their goal for campaign is just 4K with 60 frames per second, which leads me to believe that the reason why they're talking about multiplayer and then the 120 frames per second here is because this is only for multiplayer, which is pretty interesting that multiplayer may get 120 frames per second on the Series X. But we heard a lot of rumors about this throughout the year, that Halo Infinite being F2P or free to play. So it's actually really interesting that it turned out being true. And so all those many videos that I made about talking about this subject are pretty much valid still. So I'll talk more about the free to play aspect of this game later in another video, but there are fair concerns I want to bring up in this video, but also benefits that people don't really talk about. The fact that anyone can pick up Halo Infinite gameplay for free without any pay barrier allows for millions and millions of people to try out Halo that maybe didn't before because it was limited to just the Xbox or behind a paywall, and hey, they may just love it. This could basically be the catalyst for Halo returning to King of Gaming once again, and also the fact that the game is free to play implies continuous dev support, reliable updates, free DLC like maps and free events and free skins and weapons and things of that nature. Of course, there are drawbacks to this, like microtransactions flooding the game in really bad ways. They have already confirmed a while back that there aren't any real money loot boxes, and all that really means is that there aren't gambles in this game with real money. It means that there won't be any kind of Rex style microtransactions that can be bought with real money. However, this doesn't quite get rid of the possibility of there being limited armors or skins or cosmetic kind of items that are purchasable with real money. And I'm worried because this may kind of muddy the customization system. The fact that this game is free to play pretty much guarantees that there will be microtransactions. And no matter how you put microtransactions in a game, it's going to come at a disadvantage. I'm just hoping that it's not very big disadvantages. But we'll talk more about this soon because I think it's worthy of an entire video, so we'll talk about that later. In an interview conducted by iJustine, Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, said in reference to the next Xbox event, "I'm encouraged to be able to talk more about it. Should be August. I think August will have more to say on that." Honestly, this is something I didn't even think about after the July 23rd reveal because there's just so much Halo news, but these Xbox 2020 events, the one that happened with Halo Infinite's reveal, yeah, that's happening monthly. That doesn't mean that there's any guaranteed Halo news coming or that these events actually have a guaranteed time slot throughout the month, so we don't know if it's going to be August 23rd or August 8th. But I suspect Microsoft will want to plan out this event well and do better than they did last month. And I think this event would be a perfect time for Xbox to showcase Halo Infinite multiplayer for the first time, and ideally announce some kind of plan of a private or public beta. After covering Halo for about 9 years now, it doesn't take very long after that initial E3 reveal on the same year that the game is going to be released for there to be multiplayer news. So I would say in August we're getting multiplayer news, and it's going to be big stuff like gameplay. And while we might not get a public beta, I would still really hope that 343 reaches out for a private beta, a limited flight, or whatever they need to do, because just like Halo 5, it helped the multiplayer a lot before the game's release, and 343 even said that it's really important for them to do it since Halo 4's multiplayer didn't launch very well, and it helps so much with Halo 5 and Halo Wars 2. Moving on to a Halo Waypoint post that basically answered 10 plus questions about Halo Infinite, and these are all kinds of crazy, really juicy details. So let's start with the first one. What about a multiplayer beta and flighting? Well, they say the Xbox Game Showcase was only meant to focus on Halo Infinite's campaign. However, I can't blame you all for being curious about the multiplayer experience. As Chris Lee mentioned in his blog, which accompanied the demo last week, our original plans for large-scale flighting aren't where we originally intended, in large part due to the challenges from working from home during the current situation. At this time, we're honestly not sure what is going to be possible in terms of flighting, but we still hope to have an opportunity for broader public hands-on before release. And as previously stated, we'll be relying on flighting and continued feedback and community participation well beyond launch as we grow and evolve the game together. So a quick thing that I want to say about this is that I'm kind of worried that Halo Infinite will kind of be like a game that launches not really complete and the multiplayer isn't that polished, and we, the community, have to polish it after launch, which is gonna suck, and it's kind of thanks to the current situation, but that's what's worrying me about this post. But what excites me about it is that they are at least trying pretty hard to get a beta out for people. The next question is, what happened to Cortana, the Created, Blue Team, Fireteam Osiris, Lasky, UNSC Infinity, Halsey, Arbiter, and Atriox? What is Harbinger? Well, last week they say we showed a mission that takes place several hours into campaign. During the conclusion of that small slice, we introduced War Chief Esram, who defeated the UNSC forces on the ring and is eager for his next challenge. To see what led up to that moment and what comes after, you will need to play Halo Infinite's campaign. As many of you know, I'm super opposed to spoilers, and loading up all the answers in a trailer or demo, it would just be poor form. Rest assured, many of your questions will be answered in time just by playing the game. Of course, I have tons of theories about what happened there. Expect that soon here on HaloFollower. How do you pronounce Esram? It's pronounced Esher-um. Who are the voice actors playing the pilot and Esram? They sound familiar. They say, we're thrilled and lucky to have two incredible actors in the Halo family, Nicholas Roy as the pilot and Darren D. Paul as the banished warrior chief Esram, which actually played in Apex Legends. So the next question is, will we get a chance to play that campaign demo? Yes, when the game comes out, you'll be able to play this space and take out banished anti-aircraft turrets. So I don't know if that was really the answer to the question people were asking, but I think it did confirm something, which was, no, there isn't going to be a campaign beta. We're not going to be able to play this little space in Halo Infinite before the game comes out. Are there kill barriers or return to battlefield zones and campaign? They say, since we want to allow players to explore and get creative with their engagements, we've tried to reduce these as much as possible in Halo Infinite. There will always be some exceptions, but usually if you can see it, you should be able to go there. So I'm really curious as to what these limitations are, but as they're saying, if you see it, you should be able to go there. At least the immediate 3D space. I don't know if the skybox counts. As we heard, obviously this place isn't unlimited, but certainly it's pretty big. What about split screen and co-op? Campaign will support 2-player split screen and online 4-player co-op. Yes, you can play on your couch with a friend. Is there a battle rifle in Halo Infinite? I didn't see one in the campaign demo. This is actually something I did cover, and we can see it right here. Yes, if you check out the campaign gameplay trailer, watch closely and you'll catch a glimpse of the BR-75. We'll share more details later. The new MK50 Sidekick and CQS-48 Bulldog look cool. Will there be other pistols or shotguns in the game? We're excited to build on Halo's legacy sandbox while introducing new components to further evolve and expand gameplay experiences. The Sidekick and Bulldog are brand new weapons that bring something different for players to sink their teeth into. The Sidekick is a true sidearm pistol that is lightning fast to draw and fire, truly excelling as a reliable backup when your primary weapon is depleted and a brute is bearing down on you. Compared to previous titles, this weapon is the closest to Halo 2's version of the Magnum. The Bulldog is a pump-action shotgun that is punchy and decently accurate, trading slightly lower damage, 12 gauge versus 8 gauge, for a much higher rate of fire. Players will be better equipped to dispatch multiple targets quickly, and the Bulldog provides more playstyle opportunities for shotgun fanatics. There are additional variants of each of these, so there you guys have it, of confirmation that there are variations of these versions, but they say the classic Magnum and the tactical shotgun shotgun aren't currently in Halo Infinite. As we look beyond launch, we have robust plans to continue evolving the game, which will include further additions to Halo Infinite Sandbox. We understand some players won't be thrilled over the prospects of different pistols and shotguns, but we encourage you to keep an open mind, and we look forward to everyone getting hands-on perspective with these new weapons when the time comes. So reading from that, I think it's pretty much confirmed that the Magnum and shotgun in their classic form are not returning, but obviously there will be some variations of the Bulldog and Sidekick. But they talk about additions to Halo Infinite Sandbox, which I think is kind of an opening for 343 to say, hey, look, if you really want these things, it's going to be possible for us to put them in. In fact, we're already planning to bring stuff in after launch, which basically everything we've heard so far, it means that this game is going to be live service, especially with the free-to-play stuff. That means probably new weapons, new equipment, new things, new maps, and stuff like that are going to be added in the game after launch as well. This was a huge thing for Halo 5, and I would not be surprised to see it again. How would the new grapple hook work in multiplayer? Equipment items like the grapple shot function differently in multiplayer and will be available as items that can be picked up on the map. So I'm curious as to how they're going to work differently. That's something I'm really looking forward to seeing, and we'll probably find out later in August. We've heard 4K 60 FPS. Is that the best you can do even on PC? To clarify, up to 4K 60 FPS is our target for our expansive campaign experience on Xbox Series X. As PC players expect, there will be plenty of settings that you can tweak to create the experience that you want, and we'll have even more details on that in the coming months. So with that being said, I think it's safe to say that the 120 frames per second that we talked about in the beginning of the video is just for multiplayer, but that will be different for the PC players. PC players will probably be able to run unlimited frames on campaign, unlike the Xbox Series X. Speaking of PC, is it true that Halo Infinite will be coming to Steam? Yes, Halo Infinite will be available on PC via Xbox Game Pass for PC beta. By the way, the beta part there is just for the Xbox Game Pass because it's in beta form right now. But also the Microsoft Store and Steam in addition to the Xbox Series X and the entire Xbox One family of consoles. Yeah, actually Halo Infinite is already on Steam, and there's some juicy details there that I covered back when everything blew up. But moving on, will difficulty settings such as easy, normal, heroic, and legendary still exist in this expansive campaign? Yes, just like previous Halos, you will be able to choose your preferred difficulty in the menu before beginning your adventure. Who created the music in the campaign demo? We are excited to welcome 3 new composers to the Halo family who are all contributing to the amazing soundtrack for Halo Infinite. Much of what was heard in the demo comes from Gareth Coker. Check out the interview from earlier this week and listen to the official soundtrack, Set a Fire in Your Heart. I'll leave a link down to that score below because it is absolutely phenomenal. Also, what about multiplayer, Forge, theater, ranking system, esports, and everything else? Last week, we wanted to focus solely on the campaign. We'll touch on all the other aspects of the game in the coming months, though we have already confirmed the return of a new and improved Forge and some exciting plans for the next era of Halo esports on What's Next for HCS blog and our esports engine partnership announcement. In other news regarding Halo MCC, the acrophobia skull that you actually have to unlock through a set of challenges, aka the jetpack ability in Halo 3 on PC, has been extended through August, so be sure to go get that before it's cut off. And when ODST launches, Season 3 will start, and that will be the beginning of new skins, weapons, and other content for Halo 3. Some brand new customizations they talk about here that have never been seen in Halo 3 before. This is so cool to me that they're adding these new customization options in Halo games, these old Halo games, and we all kind of expected Halo 3 to be next after Halo 1, but here they are. We saw a lot of new skins for Halo 1, and I'm just excited to see what they have for Halo 3 weapons, but also I'm really excited to see ODST weapons, particularly the SMG and also the Magnum here, 2 really iconic weapons from ODST, which look like they are making an appearance in Halo 3 gameplay. Also, speaking of Halo 3 ODST, the fighting will begin sometime in August if everything goes according to plan. Plus, they share some screenshots of Halo 3 ODST firefight, and will even be adding dedicated servers along with a roster of upgrades, even matchmaking Halo 3 ODST firefight matches, which is so cool and hasn't happened before, which will include all the classic settings and variations that we're familiar with, and even more stuff, including updated customization for Halo 3 ODST. I'm not quite sure what that means, but customization will be coming, and of course we have the expected PC support options. The blog also went on to talk about what is actively in development for Halo MCC. They discuss UI and UX improvements around navigation, roster, customization, and many more areas of the game, view model adjustments for all the games, Steam account linking, that's a really big one, in-game FPS cap and adjustments, PC file share, additional video settings and options. So what that added means right there is that it's not in the game yet, but it was just added actively in development since the last Waypoint blog. But what was just added and started in development recently is also the custom games browser, input-based matchmaking. So if you're playing on keyboard or PC, you can go and fight people that are basically playing on the same way that you are. Regional server selection. So if you want to play in this part of the world or that part of the world, you can decide that. Also, cross-play between Xbox and PC. That is a big one, so we can play with our friends on Xbox and vice versa. And double key binds for all games. We also have InDesign iteration, which includes additional mod support, text chat improvements, better way to report players, VFR improvements to reach in H2A, and per game audio setting options that were just added. And for the backlog, this is interesting, text chat on or off option, idle system improvements, bringing PC features to console like FOV sliders, additional accessibility support, and split screen on PC. That's an interesting one, and I'm actually really eager to see that actually come to fruition. And also HDR support on PC. Guys, be sure to snag yourself that free Halo audiobook. It's a quick sign up, link down in the description. Guys, there was just so much stuff going on in this video, so many different topics, so many different things to be excited about, but I'm eager to talk more about free-to-play. Is that really a thing that belongs in Halo, and also what kind of upgrades are happening to Halo 3 and ODST. Also looking forward to that. I expect to see ODST in a couple months, but as far as Halo Infinite gameplay goes, probably by the end of the month we might see some stuff. That might be being too hopeful. They might flesh out the campaign a little bit more, and then later next month in September, that's when they'll flesh out the multiplayer news. But anyways, guys, be sure to drop this video a like if you ended up enjoying the content, and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join me on the journey of over 9 years of following Halo. I'll catch you guys in the next one soon, alright? You take care. Peace.